All right, welcome back to the Tool World Podcast. I'm your host, David Jew, and I'm here with Master Jew.
Hello there, Mr. Jew.
Hello. All right. We're leading back up to our seminar with Grandmaster Wheelie. Going to talk a little bit about some other things that we had talked about at that seminar. So this week we're going to talk a little bit about spot turning.
Yep, that's one of the topics he talked about.
So we got methods 1, 2, and 3.
But he didn't say that.
No, but in the encyclopedia you got 1, 2, and 3. Correcto?
And other ones. Step turn.
Step turn. Okay.
Double step turn.
Yeah.
What? Maybe we should go over what they are, Mr. Jew. You want to go with that?
All right. Guess I'm getting put on the spot here.
You're getting put on the spot. What is spot turn method number 1?
Well, let's say we're in a left walking stance. We'll make it simple. You're going to move that lead leg to the center.
Or solar plex.
Line, and then you're going to turn around.
Correct.
And spin around, right? Now, number 2, we're going to pivot on front or back foot, and you're going to turn around, just like in Chunji.
You just pivot.
Pivot, right? And number 3, you step all the way to the other side, to the shoulder.
To the other leg, right?
Yeah, to the other line, and then turn around. So kind of similar to method number 1, but there's pros and cons. All right, so tell me the pro and con of method number 3. I think that's the most simple one. If you're doing some line drills, you're moving forward and back.
Yeah, so we don't talk about these spot turns. We just do it.
Right.
It's not even mentioned in the encyclopedia. It just says to move such and such, and so you have to look at
A foot diagram.
the foot diagrams, those kind of things, or hopefully have an instructor that understands that. So, right, spot turn method number 3, or actually Grandmaster Wheelie brought this up, and I was like, wait, hold on, I've never heard this before. This is really interesting. And he says, center line turn.
No, shoulder line turn, right?
I know.
For method number 3. Well, talk about number 3 here. So
method number 3. Okay, method number 3. Shoulder line turn. And then there's a center line turn. I was getting there.
Okay.
So what does that mean? Just like you had described spot turn method number 1, let's say you're in the left walking stance, you bring your left foot, or it could be in the back foot, but we don't see the back foot in those kind of turns until later in the ranks.
Right.
Black belts, right? So mostly in the color belts, you only see the front foot moving. That's what it is.
Right.
And so you move that, let's say the left walking stance, you move that left foot to the solar plex line or center line, and then you kind of pivot and turn, counterclockwise or clockwise. Spot turn method number 3, in which he would say shoulder line turn. And taking, let's say you're in a left walking stance, you move the left foot to the other shoulder line from the walking stance and then turn around. And I think that it's a good way to describe the turns because people have to remember what spot turn 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
Let's
So you
see.
now say
Was
center, pivot, or shoulder.
Yeah, which one is it?
Right.
Was one pivoting or not? So advantage and disadvantage. So we'll use his new term.
Okay. Just to make it easy.
Center line turn,
Turning.
right?
Yeah.
And shoulder line turn are very similar. It's just that one foot goes to the center line, the other foot goes to the shoulder line. But when you do it to the center line, solar plex line, what happens is you're changing the width of the walking stance is going to be, any stance is going to have the same width. It's just that when you basically moving half the width of the walking stance and you turn around, it actually shifts you over a little bit. Whereas if you do shoulder line turn, you are placing the one foot on that shoulder line and the other foot turns and it's on the other shoulder line. So it keeps you in the same spot.
Right.
So when we do drills, and not a big deal, really, in the dojang, you have people turn around and they bump into each other, and you go, hey, move over that way. And so they readjust or something. But if you were really strict, then you would notice that if people weren't turning correctly, the center line turn or the spot turn method 1, you will eventually push someone out of the room.
So in that case, the shoulder line turn would be better.
Right, yeah, as a drill.
As a drill, because you're moving, you're staying in that same spot.
Right, and we're assuming a very strict drill here. That it was only like walking stance drills and turning around, walking stance drills, and exactly, you know. I wonder how many schools do that, or is it like, okay, guys, let's just, let's go ahead and punch.
Switch kick.
Switch kick, yeah. Just step forward and kick. Just step forward and punch.
Turning itself is difficult
Just turn around.
for like younger student.
You go, turn the other way. No, the other way. How do you do it?
All right. That's true. Well, I got another question for you. But before we get to that question, don't forget to jump into our Tool World Summit.
Maybe
at
you'll
the
learn
end of
something like
October.
that.
Yeah, I know. So we have Grandmaster Wheatley, Sesko, and Master Ju doing some presentations. You can join us virtually or in Hawaii.
Yeah, come out and play with us. And
That's
those that actually come out to Hawaii, we've got the hotel for the whole day, I believe. We're going to give them a little bit extra training.
That's right.
Maybe some personalized one-on-one training. I'm not sure if Grandmaster Wheatley will do it, but hey, if someone came up to me and said, hey, sir, would you help me on my pattern Kodang? I said, okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So join us with that with the registration link below. And my question for you though is why would I do spot turn method number 1? I mean, because you're like shifting over. So is there any point of it?
It's natural. Why not? Well, I mean, there's reasons why you do certain things, right? Why do we actually turn? Why do we turn right or left, or why would I pivot? And I said this in a class the other day. Sometimes we can't turn certain ways. Like if you're up against a wall, or you're very close to a wall, let's say, can I turn towards the wall?
No.
I can't. I've got to turn away from it.
Right.
So you've got to use different turns for that reason. And so I kind of think that, I mean, your question is quite valid. Why wouldn't I just use the shoulder line turn or spot turn method number 3 in general? In general, that's probably true in when you're doing, drills, training in class. But these ideas on turning has to be applied to in real life, in self-defense.
Right.
And so we're put in certain situations where maybe I cannot move all the way right that. I can only go partial. I got to move away from that person.
Right.
So spot turn method number 1 might be a way of doing that. You see, and so when you think about turns, I can turn clockwise, counterclockwise. Why would I do one versus the other? Why would I do spot turn method number 2 where I pivot either the front foot or the back foot? Because they do different things. One might actually, if I pivot on the back foot, and I turn around, and I do it, let's say clockwise, I might be moving towards my opponent. There could be reasons why I want to do that. Or if I do spot turn method number 2 and I pivot off that front foot and I turn around, and it might be moving away from the opponent, the opponent that are behind you.
Right.
Sometimes I move right or left, clockwise versus counterclockwise, because maybe you have multiple opponents. And so we don't really want to turn our back to the different opponents that we have. So we either might have to move clockwise or counterclockwise so that I can, again, scan the whole field. So there's reasons for that. From a combative point, right? So we bring those terminologies, or we bring those into the training so that it helps the student understand that. I'm not sure if instructors are teaching it that way or telling them that that's why we did the turn, or is it they just mimic that? That's a different story, right? But like spot turn method number 2, and like in Chanji, that's what it is. Your right hand is out, right walking stance, and you do the next movement, you pivot off that back foot and you turn around. Well, in reality, what you're doing is you're moving in towards that opponent. But it also, in that technique also, that makes you move towards your back, right?
Right.
And that's the first time new students are introduced to moving towards their back. We don't normally, people in general don't turn towards their back, right? They tend to turn towards the front. Makes a lot of sense, right? Why would I want to turn towards my back? Well, if you want to learn how to do a back kick, you've got to turn towards your back.
Right.
So that's a good start on teaching our students how to move towards their back.
Yeah, never thought about that.
Well, turning is in some ways dodging too,
It is, right?
right? It falls under I think it falls under the dodging category.
You do have to do the turns in order to do the correct stance when you do turn around, right? Because if I just pivot with both feet on the ground, your stance ends up being too short, not facing the right direction. See that a lot.
Well, when you're talking about like patterns, right? Or maybe drills.
Well, I mean, even if I'm fighting someone, so my right leg is back, let's say I'm in a guarding position, and I turn around, if I don't move my feet, then I can't turn all the way around.
Yeah, but if your feet don't move, your body's moving, you're going to fall over.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you might have a torn ACL.
Yeah.
No, that's true. And it's interesting because when you do these turns, it does not necessarily mean that if you're in a walking stance, you have to turn around and do a walking stance. In patterns and drills, sure. But in real life, you might be in a walking stance and you turn around and you moved into an L stance.
Right.
Right?
They're just different scenarios.
Different scenarios.
All right, well, let us know you guys' thoughts on turning. That's going to wrap it up.
Exciting topic.
I know, another exciting topic here. And as always, don't forget to be safe.
You know, before we go,
Yeah.
I want to thank those that stuck it to the end. I think they only stand for about a minute or something.
It's about like 2 or 3 minutes.
So thank you for those that watched it to the end.
Yeah, that's right. As always, don't forget to be safe.
Keep training.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Take one.